What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to Sunless. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here for another little, I suppose, leg, if you can call it that. I mean, boats don't have legs, but they go on voyages, so then, therefore, does that also limit boats or voyages from having legs? I don't know. I'm all confused now. I'm all wound up. But, in this case, it's a pretty good day, because we made it back to London, and we're not dead yet, which is really kind of the point of the game. If you can make it back to London in one piece, good. So, we get back here. The lights of London welcome you home. And collect messages from the harbor master is the only option right now. All the clatter and the song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? Check my mailbox. And so, in the most noble and heroic way possible, we have checked our mailbox. And it says, let's see, that's all for now. Someone wants to sign on as something has changed in the neath. Fallen London, deep, dark, and marvelous. All voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. So we can either go straight into London. We've got a couple of events here that we have a choice between. So we've got a little gift. A very fine evening to you, Captain. Well, we can go like this. A very fine evening to you, Captain. What you might call mentor is very fond of adventurous Z captains, and he would like to offer you what you might call a dispensation on account of he is so fond of Z captains. Behind the blind bruiser on the dock stands a dray piled high with fuel and supplies. And so we have the option to accept the dispensation, to which he will say, do make sure you have 15 points of space in the hold or you will come back later. Okay. It would be embarrassing to leave it on the dock. Yeah, that would sort of suck. I don't want to leave that behind for all of the thieves and cheats that are around here. We can inquire further. Who is this patron? Is there a catch? He runs a very fine and very liberal establishment just across the river, what is much patronized by sailors and by men of wit and vinegar, a public house. There's no obligation to speak of. My patron would hope only that you might remember him kindly, and I suppose that if the opportunity should arise for you to return his kindness, then I do not imagine he would refuse the offer. Ooh, what do we do? That's a lot of supplies. That is a ton of supplies. 10 fuel and 5 supplies, or maybe 5 fuel and 10 supplies. I don't know which. Either way, that would keep us stocked for a long, long leg of our journey. Let's take it. I mean, this guy looks totally trustworthy, right? I mean, he only looks like every Bond supervillain combined. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Well, my patron hopes that you find these little gifts to your liking and expects that perhaps someday you might choose to call on him at the Medusa's head. Should that day come, we will make you very welcome and give you any safe conduct what you might require. Good evening to you. He salutes and is gone, so we've accepted some proposal. We get 5 supplies and 10 fuel. That'll keep us trucking for a really, really long time. That also saves us a ton of money, so we are now beholden to somebody, and I get the feeling we're going to find out what we may have signed on for later, but we'll find out. Maybe we just won't come back to London for a while. I mean, we do have the benefit of having the vehicle required in order to skip town. That's a plus. Let's go and we'll hit up London first. And so in London, we can go to the Admiralty Survey Office. We can carouse the Wolfstack docks, which will reduce our terror. And it costs us 30 echoes, though. So I suppose carousing might not be the best thing. We might run into trouble or romance. Well, I would hope for the latter rather than the former. I mean, could end up with a troubled romance if we really wanted to go 25-25 on the whole thing. But anyways, hire on more crew. We already have 8 out of 10, so we don't need that. Put your share. Oh, we can put the ship on the dry dock for repairs. Okay. We can offer passage to tomb colonists. What the hell is a tomb colonist? A clutch of emigrants will pay to be taken north to Venderblight. That place sounds welcoming. Or Venderbite. Somehow the removal of an L does not make that place sound any less threatening. We've gone from biting to blighting and blighting to biting. And so I feel like bad things are going to happen there. We have a new recruit. Okay, who awaits your attention? Someone wants to sign on. Engage an officer, the irrepressible cannoneer. That's quite the word. Or the irrepressible. I'm sorry, I missed the P in there. My lord, are you looking for a gunner? I'm looking for a ship. Here are my references. Here are my references. Here's my design for a whistling shell. Here's my colleague. He'll stay on shore. Here's my hand. Will you take it? You seem a little bit too excited about all this. The sigil-ridden navigator. Let me guide your ship. I know all the Z, how it was, how it will be. Please, the headaches only stop when I'm working. Okay, and that's going to cost us 50 echoes. That's actually pretty expensive. Engage a Zailer. What desperate desire has led this one to sign on? Who cares? So we can either go with a Zailer. I don't know what a Zailer does. Or we can go... I'm going to go with the navigator. That seems like a really good plan. I mean, it's expensive. 50 echoes for him, and it's only 5 for a sailor. I think the money will probably be well spent. Maybe? Ah, thank you. Oh my god, the air, the air. It's clearer already. Let me chart a course for you. Ah, my head, my head. And so we can appoint a new officer by dragging him from the officers tab. So he's going to be over here. Ah, there it is. And so what does he do for us? He gives us 6 mirrors. Oh, that's good. And then he gives us 3 veils. Has that tattoo grown since last you look? If your tattoo is growing things, I think you should probably go back to the shop and be like, hey, give me some of that super smelly oil that you rubbed all over this with the plastic. We've also got a Tale of Terror. And I think what we should do right now, an Invictus token. What the hell does this do? If you are, oh, you are in Unforgiving mode. So basically we just have autosave, and you will lose this token if you switch from Unforgiving to Merciful mode. Well, we may have to switch to Merciful mode just because the nature of an LP is that I can't sit here and play this for 10 hours a day until we get to the end. So I suppose, I don't know, let me see. We can do a manual save, or we can quit to main menu, and I think you save when you get to dock, and then if we exit the game, I'll have to test it. I'll redo my, if this doesn't work out, I'll redo my steps because we haven't done that much right now, and hopefully we don't lose our save game if I quit. We'll find out. I mean, you'll never know because we'll just start up from right here in the next episode. I think we need to go to the Harbor Master, so let's go ahead and go to London, and the Admiralty survey, we get paid for those port reports that we had. So I think Hunter's Keep, he says, I trust the sisters are keeping well. They are citizens of her enduring majesty notionally. And so we gave them, oh, we get 1 Admiralty's favor, so that means he's indebted to us slightly. And we gained 5 echoes. That's not that great. And we can ask if there's anything in particular that they need. And so he says, speak to our agent there and return. We'll see if that you're rewarded. And so it says, retrieve strategic information from Guider's Mourn in the Corsair's Forest east of London. Okay, I have no idea where that's at. I've only done kind of a cursory exploration of the game. I've discovered like 10 or 15 islands, but I haven't discovered that. I don't recognize the name, so that'll be an adventure for us. We'll have to fly off and figure out where that's at. And then we can go to our lodgings, and we could read the morning papers, an unexpurgated gazette, the magazine formerly known as the London Magazine, the Spiteful Trumpeter news, and that gives us the recent news. So we'll read that. We lost 1 terror, so we're down to 34, which leaves us nervous, slightly anxiety-ridden. And then we gained 1 supplies. The Canet is threatening war. They always are. London's colonies on the Carnelian coast want independence. They always do. The Untersee, the paper's report, has undergone another alteration. Not yet, it hasn't. You'd know. Oh ho, a promotional coupon from Mrs. Plenty's Provisioners for a half cask of salt herring. You could use that, and so that's where the extra supply came from. We also gained 1 recent news. We can rest in the room above the blind helmsman, which costs us 10 echoes. So if you don't have the echoes to go out roistering, it's best to stay at home. Well, that'll lower our unlocked with terror 1. I wonder if that reduces all of our terror. Let's find out for future reference. We lost 1 terror. Wow, that did like nothing for us. So how do we dispense of terror a little bit better? Because our terror is quite bad. I suppose we go carousing, maybe? So that actually was not really worth like 10 echoes to lose. Well, we get Restless Night. Or Restful Night. I don't know what that does. What does it do for us? It should be in here somewhere. So that's Circumstances. Do we carry it around like a good, perhaps? I mean, it said that we did get a Restful Night, so... Ever-changing time, 7. I don't really know what that means either, other than that might be like the trigger for events. Yeah, I don't see anything that's indicating that we actually have... It might be under our name, perhaps? No? Well, then I don't know where that's listed. But it definitely said that we had a good night's rest. Visit the university. Unlocked with a secret. Okay, so if we bring a secret back here, we might be able to do that. We can also... This says unlocked with the Admiralty's favor, no more than 2. You have 1. Once you have proven your helps out. Okay, so survey 3 ports and return to win the Admiralty's... Okay, so let's go ahead and survey some ports. Let's get back out here. I mean, there's a lot of terror. And so I'm thinking that maybe we should be on our way. That ship right there is hostile. You can tell because it's all grayed out and black. That's a bad thing for us because we don't want to fight them, and we don't want to increase our terror any further either. So I'm going to try and keep the lights on for as long as possible. Oh, we hit a buoy. That's bad for us. Okay. Discovered the Aurora Megalops infestation outside Fallen London. Something has driven the glowing terrors north. 20 fragments gained. Okay, so we've got to figure out why these things are all over the place. I'm going to flee. You succeeded in a Veils challenge. Okay. That's fine. I didn't really feel like fighting him anyways, so he can go off about his merry crab way. We're going to go down here to the south. I suppose we could go out to the east and survey that location they said. We'll do a loop. How about that? We'll do like a little loopy thing, and we'll see how it works out for us. We got another crab right there. We discovered Mutton Island. Where is Mutton Island at? We've also got news from abroad. So maybe we'll be able to trade that for something useful later on. Oh, slow the ship, slow the ship. Hold on. Let's not crash into the rocks. I don't feel like doing that just yet. And then we're being outrun by crabs again. So we're going to run from them because there's no point fighting them. They're only worth like 1 XP anyways. Our hunger is a little bit higher, so we might consider murdering them later on. Maybe after we dock here. But let's go ahead and pull into Quaker's Haven, and we'll see what happens down and in here. Quaker's Haven. Once this simple fishing village was part of the London suburbs before London fell and the waters rushed in. Smoke spirals from cottage chimneys. A lonely hill rises behind the town. So we can drink at the Cock and Magpie. No, thank you. I don't know what variety of drinks they might have, but not feeling it. We could go with, what is this? Unlocked with 5 supplies, we can get ourselves a wretched Mog. Morale, morale. A yellow-eyed, mangy, piebald thing winds around your ankles like a manacle chain. You've never seen a cat's mouth open that wide. Presumably it's hungry. We already have a mascot, but he only gives us 1 heart. Explore the shore. Okay, so let's do that. And we wander a little ways from the shore. Fisherfolk, sailors, a shady couple of likely pirates, and is that a drowny down by the water's edge? They sit round a fire at the Z's edge, passing around a bottle of something viciously black, or viscously black. They're wagering on riddles. Will you join them? We don't have a whole lot of pages right now, which is one of our stats. It's our intelligence, so we're not very good at being smart. So I think we're going to walk away. You pass on, the drowny laughs at a pirate's joke, and the fire sinks low and blue. We can also chat with the fishermen, which costs us an echo. We don't have a whole lot, though. I suppose we'll do it. We get a port report for Quaker's Haven. Pirates plying the waves. Smugglers at their work. Cane at ships, putting in to resupply. Nothing dramatic, but enough to interest the Admiralty. Okay. So at least we got that out of there. And they don't really want news. Do we trade the supplies that we just took to gain ourselves a new mascot? And it doesn't say what the wretched Mog does. I suppose it's a kitty. I mean, I do like kitties. Sure. Let's trade for a kitty. And so we have a new... It gives us iron +2. Its perpetual ill temper does not endear it to the crew, but it does make an effective ratter. So we have hearts versus iron. Okay, well, I suppose the kitty can just be on board. I'm not really going to use it right now. Our hunger's looking a little bit iffy. And so I think I'm going to launch and fight one of these right here to get our hunger staved off. And so there it is. We will engage. We're going to illuminate twice and then fire. So let's go ahead and start the combat. Hopefully we can end up with... I don't know. We can't end up with 50 after 2. We'll see what happens here. I'm going to pause it right after it goes off. Did we make 50? We made 50. So fire the broadsides.
Hard to port. Ready at the starboard. Broadsides away.
There we are. And so the battle is won. After defeating it, we're going to eat it. Nom 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 nom. And so we've eaten crab for the day. That's going to go ahead and lose 44 hunger, which is great. That sets us back so that we're not going to waste supplies, which is good because we just fed a whole bunch of supplies to the cat. How the cat ate 11 crates of food, I'm not really sure, but the little guy must have been hungry. We're going to escape him because I don't see much point in drawing into any sort of combat. And so as you can see right there, if we send out our bat, it allows us to see other areas. Unfortunately, the bat seems to get stuck as it works right now. There's a harbor to the northwest, obviously. We know about that. This one right here, what is this? I'm not so sure. Let's continue to have a look around. It looks like there's something way down here. Oh yeah, it's an island wrapped in bandages. What the hell? It's called Godfall? Why is this island bandaged so heavily? Is it wounded? God. Well, I suppose we'll dock. I hope it's friendly. Godfall. The brawling bearded men who live here call themselves monks. They pay lip service to Saint Stalagmite, which fell from the roof, but their chief interests seem to be wine, blood, and shouting. Alright. So we can say, of wine, the throats of the brothers are dry. They'll pay for something to moisten them. That's going to be the 5 casks of mushroom wine. You'll get 100 and... Oh yeah, no more than 199. Okay, so as long as it's not 199, you can do that. So I suppose that is the game's timer. Of blood, offer them a hunting trophy from your collection. 1 hunting trophy. Don't have any of those, so I suppose we'll go with shouting. They're eager to talk about their history. The stalagmite, they assure you, was one of the citadels of the starved men who dwell in the roof. When it fell, a few of its occupants survived to become the monks' progenitors. How does that work, you wonder, with their vow of celibacy? They become vague and are suddenly eager to speak of the details of passing shipping. And so we get a port report for Godfall. Good. There's nothing else here. Is there a shop or anything? No, there's nothing here that we can really make use of. So I think... perhaps... let's take a look at our charts. We can either go back up to the north, and we can check this place out. We can go out to the west and see what's over here, and then cut back, and then deliver news to one of these places. I don't know. Let's just go west, I guess. Let's see what's out here. We've got plenty of supplies, and our terror is still reasonably low, I suppose. Can we just wait here for a while? Does this actually lower? Or does it just stay where it is? Looks like it stays where it is. Were that there a way for us to lower our terror? Let's find out. How do I reduce it? Use shore leave in London or in other ports, but London is the most cost effective to reduce it. Lots and lots of other stories increase or reduce terror. Great. So being far away from home as we are, let's go ahead and we'll head west. And hopefully we don't find ourselves losing our minds at sea, because that seems like it would be ill-advised. Oh, I know I don't want to mess with that thing right there. I fought one of those in one of my past playthroughs and it hurt like hell. It wounded me. It made me sad. So let's avoid him at all costs. I'd like to send out the Z-Bat, and he's still flying to Mutton Island, but it looks like there's something down here to the south on our charts. Let's go take a look. We need to make some money so that we can carouse. Okay, so it's got to be near these buoys then that it lowers your terror. That's flying off to Godfall, I think. And what is this over here? Let's try and stay in between the buoys then, because I just noticed that. And I'm not sure how I didn't notice that between the buoys you actually lose terror. But that's actually a really, really good plan if it keeps us from getting into trouble. Giannotti Harbor. Okay, well hopefully not that naughty. I hope those aren't enormous cannons. They look threatening. I think they're just winches. So we find the Cuman Canal. We've leveled up, which means that we get a secret. We're going to dock here. The Cuman Canal staging area. The canal ascends through locks and gates and shadowed turns to the sunlight of the surface. We can travel to the surface. The sun is dangerous to Neath dwellers like your crew, but the surface has its temptations. If you're well stocked with supplies of fuel, you may never, if you're not, you may never return. Okay, listen for surface gossip. We'll do that. The ships of the surface linger here, and this is their lifeline to a warmer place. We have one vision of the surface. This would be a prime spot for a pub or wine shop, but the interest of the Echo Bazaar and the laws of London prevent it. They don't like competition. Still, there are temporary half-legal hostelries, there we go. I've never seen that word before. That's a new word to me. Hostelries and long-moored ships. Here you trade stories with suntanned surface sailors, stories of Paris and Batavia, the Lost Fires and Final Isles. This font, in case you were wondering, is incredibly small for me on my screen right now, so that's why I'm having trouble reading it. It's really, really little. It's like 6 point right now, so I'm having to stare at it. So I'll try and take it a little bit slower, but we gain a vision of the surface. I don't know what that does for us. Far above the sun remains in vendor bite. They're always eager for news at the surface. Okay, well, we could pick up those coffin guys and take them to vendor bite. Gather information for the port report. So we've got many ships passed this way, but perhaps you'll pick up something they missed. Let's do it. So we get 1, a perfunctory port report, the Cuman Canal. The gates open and shut, the locks remain free from sabotage. If anywhere besides London is safe in all the Untersee, it's here. The surface nations have an interest in keeping the way open. Okay, so apparently there's people up above the surface too. I guess we're underwater or something right now. There's like a sea underneath a sea from what I can tell. I mean, that would be the only reason to go up to the surface, I guess. Maybe we live under a fog miasma or something, I don't know. Let's take this opportunity, and we will sail carefully while avoiding this gentleman right here, back on up to London. We'll turn in our reports, we'll gather some of the gossip from one of the lighthouses up here, or we'll turn in our gossip from the lighthouse. We'll read the newspaper, we'll go back up to the Sisters, and maybe we'll pick up those guys and go out to vendor bite and see if maybe we can earn a little bit of cash that way. I don't know, I'm flying slightly blind right now. I mean, I'm familiar with some of this stuff down here, but then again, some of the further out colonies, I have no idea. It's kind of cute the way that the ferret cuddles that blanket. I mean, I am a fan of animals that enjoy a good cuddle every now and again. We've gained some terror, but I think if I can swing back out by here, maybe it'll go down. It looks a little bit lighter. Maybe not. We've got Mutton Island. I don't think that they wanted any of the information. Let's cut right, and we'll see what's over at this other place over here. And we'll see where that goes. Our temperature's okay. 200 Fahrenheit's not bad at all. So I don't think we're really at risk for a fire or anything. Something drifts face down. July 2nd, 1982. If you wonder what I'm reading, Shepherd Wash, the salty hinterland of London, home to hermits, nuns, and shadowy business. Okay, so we found the Sisterhood. I don't know what that means for us, but I can assume that it's probably not good. I mean, everything in this game seems slightly haunting and not really built for our pleasure. I guess we'll stop over at Abbey Rock. Let me lower the engines down now so that we can make this turn properly, and then we'll dock at Abbey Rock. A black spit of an island far from anywhere anyone would want to go, and that's how the Sisterhood likes it. Here stands their fortress convent. There are bear traps that look friendlier than this. Better teeth, too. You can trade supplies, and so if we trade them supplies, they'll pay us in echoes. We'll compile a port report. It's unlikely to be eventful. Nothing is happening. The Sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on rocks and then withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of a century. The greatest peril you risk here is certain purpleness of prose. Artistic, but not really what I'm looking for. We can knock at the iron-studded gates with news. Perhaps they'll find it valuable. We can watch the Covenant using our sneakitude, so I'll probably do that. Like huge and deadly herons, the Sisters stalk along the very tops of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. God, one of them just turned a somersault. 5 fragments, that's all for now. We can knock at the iron-studded gates and give them information? Sure, why not? The muscular prioress, the abbess's lieutenant, comes to the door to listen. She nods and makes notes. She pays particular attention to news of a marsh beast predations and the traffic of the rooftops. In return, she offers a rather perfunctory blessing, but the blessing reassures your crew. And so we lost 2 terror from that. That wasn't quite the recompense that I was looking for, but okay. We have no recent news. We can knock again, but that's probably a bad idea. Let's go ahead and I'm going to break it off right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Sunless Sea. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode as we continue our adventures and hopefully find something a bit more lucrative. I'm getting a bit worried about our expenditures on that sigil-ridden navigator, but he does give us a pretty good boost in stats, so maybe it'll work out. I don't know. I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care out there in the mists, everybody, and hi-do.